G'day Bomber fans, after our recent losses, Coach Brad Scott hinted at some big changes to our list and there have been some big ones here already. We have delisted a bunch of squad members before the silly season has started and there are going to be some more to come as well. So I'm just going to go through the changes and discuss what they mean to our list as a whole. Also, before I start, I reckon I'll chuck out a cheeky season review this Friday, so stay tuned for that. And then on the Monday, in a separate video, I will release the results from the Everything Essendon Player of the Year award votes that you guys have been involved with all year, so stay tuned for that. So before we get into the changes we have made, we had 2 retirements this season. We can't do anything about those. Andrew Phillips and Anthony McDonald Tip and Woody retired. We thank them for their service. Does this affect our team at all? In Tip and Woody's case, not so much because he hasn't really been a cemented small forward option since 2021. We have a bunch of smalls on our list, but still need that X-Factor pressure player we are missing. So Waller going means we have some salary room to try and find one in the future, hopefully. As for Andrew Phillips, this is much trickier. His retirement leaves us with just 2 ruckmen on our list, and I'm hesitant in saying Brian is fully ready for a whole AFL season. He has shown some good signs and done some good things, but I don't know if he can consistently maintain form for 24 rounds. So I think Phillips leaving opens the door for us to try and find a mature backup ruckman, which there are plenty of available. There are plenty on the trade table. I'll discuss that later in a separate video, but Phillips does leave us needing ruck depth because he was our second best ruck all year. Now let's get to the delistings. There have been 4 already. We will start with James Stewart. To me, this was the message to the fans, not an intentional message, but delisting this guy with a year to go on his contract after he kicked 5 goals in the VFL, that is brutal. That clearly shows the club were not happy with some aspect of his performance and the standards he was setting. I always liked Stewart as a player. He has been a great pickup for us, whether in defence or attack, but in recent years his body just couldn't handle AFL football. His early delisting means we will pay out the remainder of his contract, which we can do because of our large salary cap space. It's never ideal, but if a player is not performing the way you want him to, it makes sense to get rid of him. I respect it. As much as I liked Stewart on our list, I like the fact we are this harsh even more. It shows we are trying to build a competitive, professional culture. As for the other delistings, Alistair and Keane McBride, this was bound to happen. These are 2 players who just never looked like they could hack it at the top level, and by top level I mean VFL. It's hard for McBride, who is an Irish import that was pretty much only drafted because of his athletic capabilities, and as for Lord, he looked alright in the VFL at times, but never really set the world alight with his performances, unfortunately. I wish the best for both of them. Finally, Rhett Montgomery, this is another brutal one which I like. Montgomery is a mature age draftee from 2022. It's his first season at Essendon this year. He has been terrific in the VFL, one of our best players, really solid, consistent performer, but he just doesn't look like he can take that next step. I said it a month or 2 ago in one of my videos while praising him, and clearly the club agree. He is not an AFL player. He is good at footy, but not good enough to be at that top level. I, again, wish him the best. He seems like a pretty cool dude. So if my maths is correct, which it rarely is, that is 6 outgoing players, 4 delistings, and 2 retirements. Will that be all that we will see? No, it will not. We are bound to see more players delisted. The 3 or the 4 we got is just a little taste. It shows that these were the easiest of the decisions to be made. These decisions were probably finalised before the exit meetings that have been going on this week. I would say these players were informed of the pressure they were under well before the VFL season even ended. It's often the case that you have little spurts of delistings, so the players that were never a chance to stay, like Lord, Montgomery, Stewart, and McBride, are early, straight after the season ends. You will see other clubs do the same. There will be a few this week, and then you have the more out-of-contract players being told their services aren't required either before the draft or around the trade period. So really it's all because with them it depends on whether you can replace depth. So we'll see more of that as the year unfolds. It's probably a good time to look at the out-of-contract players we have. We now have 10 remaining players yet to sign a contract. Some here, like Menzies, are close to signing, as we know. There are probably others there as well. But many here are under genuine list spot pressure. We can take away BZT and Parrish from this conversation because they are currently in trade talks and deciding their futures with us. We want them clearly. But Jones, Hunter, Baldwin, D'Ambrosio, Bryan, Voss, and Snelling are out of contract, and not all of them are going to stay. In fact, I see room for 3 or 4 more delistings if Parrish and BCT stay, maybe more in fact because of the harsh list calls we are supposedly going to be making. That is all though. I just thought I'd update you guys with a quick little list video. There's been 6 changes so far, bound to be around the 10 mark I would say by the end of the year. So let me know what else you expect to see happen. Do you think we will see a big list cull? Cheers for watching, stay tuned for more videos like this, and go Bombers!